Hey guys, welcome to Currently Cringing. So I made a video this week and I thought it was funny. It was basically for a trending sound that says, I've been a nasty girl. And it's trending on TikTok, which means in a week or two, it's going to be trending on IG Reels. And so basically it's this song that just says, I've been a nasty girl. Can anyone match my freak? And you can make a reel or a TikTok about it. And I made a TikTok about it after seeing a girl who made a hilarious reel about it, saying that, on her last day of her period, she doesn't use a pad. Like, we're all risking it. And I was like, we're all living the same life. And I know a lot of us do that. And you risk it, right? I'm done with my period in my head. And so I took that inspiration and made a video about how I've thrown food in the trash and eaten it a couple hours later. And then in the comments, someone said, oh, babe, that's an eating disorder. Okay, I am tired of everything having to be a thing. An eating disorder is serious. I do not have an eating disorder. I would order food when I was at my job, when I worked a W-2 job, and I would get full and I would throw it away in my own trash can. And then sometimes before work ended, I would get hungry again and I was tempted to eat the food that I had thrown away in my own trash can. And sometimes I'd take it out and eat it again. Very rarely, but yes, I was a nasty girl and I did that. That does not mean I had an eating disorder. We cannot label everyone as having an eating disorder or anxiety or an attachment style. It's just not fair. Some people are just living and don't have an eating disorder. They don't have anxiety. They're not stressed. And yes, it's horrible to have all those things, but not everyone has those things. And maybe that's eating disorder behavior for a lot of binge eaters out there. And so immediately I archived the post because we can't have anything nice. We can't say anything. We can't do anything anymore without being labeled as having an eating disorder or a mental disorder. And there are people actually suffering from these disorders, which is why I archived the disorder, because I don't want to take away from those people. And some people would leave that on there because that would create engagement, because I already knew where that post was going. But it's frustrating because not everything is about an illness or a disorder or anxiety or a dating app or anything remotely that serious. Sometimes it's just not that deep. And people would tell me that all the time when I was dating. I would be devastated over getting ghosted or not getting a text reply. And my friends would tell me, Anisha, it's not that deep. And they were right. It's not that deep. Not everything has to be a thing. Not everyone has to be labeled. And not everyone has a disorder or mental illness or anxiety. Some of us are just living. We're just living, coping on earth like everyone else. And sometimes we're full and we throw our food away and we change our minds and we eat it again. It's that simple. And it's exhausting, which is why I rarely post. I don't post my life anymore because there's nothing to show. I don't live a relatable life. And when I say I don't live a relatable life, I don't mean like I'm living this grandiose, incredible life. I just don't eat a lot of things because of my health. So I'm very restricted with what I eat when I'm home. And I don't have children, so I can't even post like mom content. And even if I did have a child, I wouldn't post mom content. It's not something I would post or talk about, quite frankly. And more power to the moms who do, but it's just not for me. And I don't have chores or anything else because I live in an apartment with my husband. It's two of us and we have a cleaning lady come in. So it's like, there's nothing to even show you. I don't have an annoying husband. Someone even told me in my comedy, they were like, you really need to talk about marriage and how you hate marriage and being married is annoying and having a husband is annoying. Like, no, I got married at 38. It's not annoying. My husband 10x'd my life. He's a great guy. We get along 99% of the time. And he's not really home 99% of the time, which is why we probably get along. But overall, we're compatible. We have the same values. We have very similar personalities. We aren't opposites. We think the same. We're in sync. So no, I'm not going to create fake content to bash my husband to be relatable to a lot of people that don't like marriage or regret marriage or hate their husband or find their husband annoying. I don't. I have to be authentic and stay true to myself. I'm not an anxious person. I've never had anxiety. I'm not really stressed. Have I had stressful times in my life? Yes. Do I have depression? Yes. I have like undiagnosed clinical depression and I live with it. And it's just part of life. And I just know now, since I was like 4, that sometimes I get sad and it is what it is. And a lot of people get medication for that and need medication and it's really serious. But I've decided that I'm okay with this for now. I don't have a serious case of it. It's just in my family, it's in my genes, and I know it and I just deal with it. And it's something I'm able to compartmentalize because I keep busy. I realize for me, being busy is good. I need to be booked and busy so that I'm not having an existential crisis. And all of this comes from knowing yourself. It does not mean you know other people or have the right to label other people as having an eating disorder. I don't have an eating disorder. I have talked about counting calories and how it's a full-time job to be slim, and I'm a foodie, and I stopped eating 99% of the foods I love because of my joint pain and my migraines and my IBS, all of which kind of disappeared after I took on a plant-based diet. But for people to just label you as having an eating disorder because you made a reel about tossing food and eating it again later is wild to me. That's the internet. It's wild. And of course, I can't be a beauty influencer or anything like that. First of all, I'm now like nearing 40 and, you can be an over 40 influencer, but the market's not that hot for women over 40. It is what it is. It's not common. People want to see young people. It's just the way society has been. I hope it changes, but I'm also allergic to 99% of beauty products and perfumes. So I can't even talk about all of them because there's only like 5 I can use. But as someone who basically got a TV show from posting my entire life on IG since 2012, it's not fun anymore. It's not enjoyable because everything has been made so serious. It's like people are diagnosing people now on the internet off a reel. It's crazy. It's wild. It's not what social media platforms were intended for. You are there to view content and either enjoy it or learn from it. If neither of those things are happening for you, then you shouldn't be on the internet. Like those people that, they're like, for my mental health, I had to get rid of social media. That's good. If you know this isn't doing you any good, or it's creating bad feelings, or it's impacting your mental health or your physical health, then you shouldn't be on social media. And you definitely shouldn't be diagnosing people on the internet. We don't know anyone's story. And in my case, thankfully, I'm really grateful and blessed that I don't have an eating disorder. Okay. And I've talked a lot about this at my comedy show, where as millennials, we could be deemed as having bad relationships with food. Okay. Like bad ideas around food. Like we grew up with all these different diets, like the Mayo Clinic diet, the Zone diet, the South Beach diet, the Atkins diet. I could go on. And now with Ozempic, it's just different. It's just a different medicine now, but it's still bad because people aren't using it because of their diabetes or they have, other health issues. Some people are just using it to use it. And I've discussed that as well. Like it would be easy to just go on Ozempic and lose like 5 pounds, but I'm not doing that. And I joked about it, but apparently you can't joke about anything either. And unfortunately or fortunately, I archived that reel because I don't have time for that or room for that in my life. And I'm in a phase in my life where I'm enjoying my life. I'm at peace. I have a very calm life at home. And I just don't have time to deal with people on the internet. diagnosing me with an eating disorder or with any illness or disorder for that matter. Offer real. I left it up on TikTok though, but we'll see how that goes because I don't really care about TikTok, quite frankly. And it's been proven that TikTok, the algorithm there does really value white creators, and it is what it is. So I'm just there for fun. So I left it there. But IG, I don't want you guys thinking I have an eating disorder, and I don't want anyone thinking I think having a disorder is funny. And if that's eating disorder behavior, well, it's going to get taken down because that's not what I'm condoning. But I literally was joking about how I was full at work and I would throw my food away in my own personal trash can. And sometimes I would take the food out and eat it again later in the day when I was starving again. Because guess what, guys? 8 hours, 9 to 5, that's a long time. You're going to have lunch at 1, in my case, and you're probably going to get hungry again before 5 p.m. That is not an eating disorder. That is called living. That is life. As a human being, we get hungry. And I've discussed this with a few of my good friends. I have said I have never been interested in fame. I've been interested in making money. And right now, I have to post in order to make money, as in posting fuels me, my business, my comedy, and all the other things that I have going for me. But as soon as I make my goal amount, I am fleeing the internet. I have no interest in posting, and a lot of us have to post because it's our business. It's part of our business. It's marketing. You have to market yourself these days. And I envy boomers and Gen Xers who made their money and didn't have to post for a living and get to live their lives. And once upon a time, this was really fun and enjoyable for me. And I mentioned it earlier last year. It's just not anymore. I just do it because I have to. But, posting is a necessary evil in the business of entertainment. And the best part about it all is obviously getting to do the podcast. I'm so grateful that you all listen and DMing you guys. Honestly, I would love to just DM you guys all day and talk to you guys all day and record the podcast versus posting these reels. But when you're in this business, people go to your social media accounts and they want to know, are you up to date? Are you posting? How many views do you have? How many likes do you have? It's just something you have to do. And all businesses have to do it, And one day I'll just have a social media manager and they can post all the nonsense. But as of now, I'm the product and I have to create content. And it's not really even for you guys, because you guys and me, we're in touch. We talk on the DMs. I don't think you guys even care if I post. We're just in communication. But a lot of these companies, they need you to post. They want to see what you're talking about, what you're doing, and, how popular you are. It is what it is. That's just how things are running these days in many different industries, even in healthcare, shockingly. A lot of people are like, oh, I wouldn't go to a doctor that has social media. Well, a lot of people are going to those doctors, those plastic surgeons, especially that have those big social media accounts. They are thriving because they have those accounts. And so I don't think they want to post most of the time, but they have no choice. But I'm getting ready to go to Japan for my husband's birthday. And those are the trips we take, right? It's one trip for his birthday, one trip for my birthday, and then a bonus trip during Christmas or whenever we have time off. And I'm hoping we have a month off in September because we leave Arizona in August and then he starts his new job in Miami. And that would be really cool because I've actually never had a month off in my entire life. And to have that month off and go to India would be incredible because being Indian, I've been to India many, many times, but it's always been to see family and to do work, right? Either shopping for Indian clothes or visiting all my relatives or my parents taking us to all the temples because my mom's extremely religious. So we've never really gone to India just to have fun, just to chill and to visit the places that, are the hot spots. Like I've never been to Goa or Rajasthan, for example, because my family is in Bangalore and Mumbai. So we just always go to those places. And the Maldives are right there. So I'd like to go to the Maldives, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, how it all plays out. But it would be incredible. I always wanted to spend an extended period of time in India in my adult life. We always went to India for 2 months at a time every summer, along with Dubai, because my grandparents live there. But I've never done it in my 20s. 18 and over, I've never spent more than a week in India. And that would be a really cool experience, especially right now. Everything's changing so rapidly in India. And it would be cool to see, how the country has progressed. And of course, the food. I mean, it's like the mecca for food. People underestimate how creative Indians are. And the food scene in India just seems insane. I follow a lot of Indian accounts and I see a lot of Indian reels and Indian content. And it is just eye-opening how talented they are over there. There's just so much talent. But before I forget, I also wanted to tell you guys, after I came back from Dallas, I was just extremely bloated, unwell, and I kept going to the bathroom and I was like thinking maybe it's the antibiotic from when I was sick last week. But I think it was just my body purging because the week I was sick, I was just having juices and broths. And then I started eating like solid foods in Dallas. And I just kept going to the bathroom, but I think it was my body just like detoxifying. I'm fine now. But I've seen on TikTok that people are rubbing castor oil on their bellies, on their abdomens, and it's supposed to reduce inflammation, clear out toxins, and especially with your liver. And so I did that. I have castor oil. And by the way, anytime I've had like an issue with my eyes, and it's very rare. I don't wear contacts, but sometimes like I'll get a rash on my eye because of the makeup. I've talked about this, and it forms like shriveled up, crinkly skin under my eye, kind of like grid marks. It's really weird. It's really bizarre, which is why I have to be careful with how much makeup I put on, because I'll find like the cleanest makeup with nothing on it, and I'll still get like this weird shriveled up skin under my eye. And that happened from New York, my mom's birthday, and then Dallas, because I used makeup so many times during the week. And that is not normal and is not supposed to happen. But I'm buying these products that don't have any toxic ingredients in them. And I found out I'm allergic to titanium dioxide, and it doesn't have that, but it's still occurring. So it is what it is. There's nothing I can do right now. There's no other product out there that I have found, unless I guess I make my own foundation and concealer, and I'd have to look into that. But I put castor oil on my eye when that happens, and it's like healed the next day. But people on TikTok were discussing castor oil and putting it in your belly button and around your abdomen. I have done it for 2 days straight, and my belly has like reduced in half, and I've been going to the bathroom, but like normal. And it's reduced a lot of the inflammation around my abdomen, and hopefully it's cleaning my liver. I wouldn't know for sure, but I've done it now 2 days in a row. I've put the castor oil in my belly button and all over my entire belly, like from my belly button down to like my pelvic bones and on the sides. And I've been waking up with less bloat because I'm a bloated girly pop. I'm always bloated for the most part. And with this, I don't think you should do it too often either. I'm doing this for like 3 days and then I'm going to stop, and then maybe I'll do it in another 6 months. But I'm seeing a big difference. It works, whatever it's doing. And I know my uncle, he went to boarding school, my mom's brother. And I remember he would tell us when they would like sneak off campus and eat Chinese food or something. This was like in India back in the day. They would make the kids have a teaspoon of castor oil and it would get rid of everything in you. Like you'd be on the toilet for the entire day. And I'm just putting it on my belly, not even consuming it. And I've been going to the bathroom, but not in a terrible diarrhea, awful, painful, gassy way, in a normal way. And I think that's what it is. It's been 2 days now. I'm on day 2. I'm going to do it for one more day tomorrow, and I'll let you know how it goes, but I think you should try it as well. I just bought some castor oil from Sprouts. It's a grocery store, and I'm sure you can get it anywhere at any grocery store. And if you are going to consume it, make sure you buy the one for consumption, and let me know if you try it out. I love sharing these little tips with you. And then I started feeling a little headachy yesterday, and I realized it's because I've been traveling and I hadn't been taking my magnesium. And I told you guys, I started taking 400 to 600 milligrams of magnesium every day, and my migraines kind of went away, my menstrual migraines. And I didn't even tell you guys, when I went to LA, I think I was just really nervous and stressed for my Netflix debut. Netflix is a joke debut, my performance. And we had gone to lunch with my brother and my sister. And I remember it was May 11th, the day after my performance. And we went to this delicious Armenian restaurant called Rafi's in Glendale. And afterward, I went to the bathroom and my entire period had come out. Like TMI disgusting. Seems to be a common trend on this podcast where I seem to get my period in the most random places. And you would think it would be predictable, and it is. I just never know exactly what day. It's like give or take plus or minus 3 days. But usually I get it around like the 18th. And now it was May 11th, and I got it at the bathroom of this Armenian restaurant, and I was there for quite a bit. We had to go to Walgreens right after and get tampons because I didn't have anything on me. And I think that was induced by the stress from my performance, because it's very stressful for me. And now, of course, I'm going to Japan, and I'll be in Japan, and I'll probably get my period on June 11th, unless it switches back again to the 18th. But that's been happening a lot, and I think that's just because of all the traveling I'm doing. My body's just like, what are you doing? And I'm putting myself in this very stressful situation with the comedy shows. And even my mom's like, why are you doing this to yourself? But you know what? It's something I love doing. And once I'm on stage and I get going, I'm fine. It's the buildup. It's everything before I get on stage. And obviously it was Netflix. It was a huge deal. And so I put a lot of pressure on myself, and maybe that's what induced my period. But hopefully it doesn't come back on the 11th because I'll be in Japan. But if it does, it does, you know, it is what it is. But try out the castor oil tip. And I even had a rash, and I put the castor oil on that rash and it went away. Right now I'm suffering from a very bad rash behind my ears and my neck and my collarbones because I tested a new perfume at the store and it clearly gave me a rash. And I'm glad my body's this way. That way I'm not like taking in all these chemicals. But once in a while, it would be nice to just be a normal person that can have dairy and gluten and spray perfumes all over their body and they don't get a headache or a rash. You know, that would be nice. Or just use any blush or makeup or foundation, lip gloss, and not get a headache or have your nose run and your eyes water, which also creates a migraine. Yeah, that would be nice. But I'm grateful. I stay grateful. And I'm going to put all these things on my Amazon store. I think I have a health section. And for those of you that are like, oh, commission, like, please, okay? The commission's like 11 cents. It's not doing me anything. Now, unless there's like 3 million of you buying the castor oil, then yeah, it would make a difference. If I was Alex Earl, you know, for those of you who don't know Alex Earl is, who she is, she's a big TikToker and now big on IG as well. She's just like one of the hottest, biggest influencers of the past 2 years now. And I love her. She's relatable, stunning, smart, funny, pretty. She's all the things. And, yeah, I'm sure she's making millions when she talks about a product. Me, when I tell you guys to go buy something, I think it's coming up to like $3, okay? Maybe a Wendy's Frosty. And that too, I can only have a spoon of it, and I'm giving the rest to my husband because I don't want to shit my pants. If anyone has been to Japan in the past year, if you have any tips, let me know. I told you guys I had been, but that was in 2012. It's been a minute, but I've researched a bunch of fun things and I'm looking forward to it. And I'm really excited to tell you guys about my next project. Again, that will only come out in 2025, but once it's absolutely confirmed, I will tell you. And remember, move in silence. I am stressing that. You know, your girl, I was always the first one to tell people everything. And then I realized, like, we have monitoring spirits around us. We have people around us that don't like us. And I learned that the hard way. And that's really sad. It's a sad way to figure things out, where you have friends that don't like you. And like I said, I didn't even confront those people. I just know things and heard things. But don't tell people your plans. Don't tell people your next moves. Don't tell people you're buying a house. Don't tell people you're changing jobs. Don't tell people you're going on a trip. Okay, I just told you guys, but like anything that's good that's happening to you, don't tell people or anyone. I'm talking family, friends, everybody. Don't tell anyone unless it's done. Tell everyone when it's over, when it's done. Like me, like when I told you guys I got married. Everyone's like, oh my God, you had such a quick wedding. Like you met someone and married him yesterday. Like, no, I met my husband and just didn't tell anyone. And then I dated him for a year and a half and got married. And it's hard to live that way, especially when you're so open. And my mom would yell at me all the time. But I told you, the older I get, I'm just taking pages out of my mom's book because guess what? She's right. She has experience. She knows at 65, she knows more than I do. And I just thought our generation was different. But sadly, it's not that different. We have haters too. And the reason why some of us find it so hard to believe and can't digest it and can't fathom it is because we would never do those things or feel those things. We can't comprehend a lot of things because we would never do those things. Like, I would never hate on a friend that had something great going for them. If anything, I'd be like, wow, I'm lucky this happened to my friend. And that success is like going to rub off on me. Like, I want to be around people that are successful. And I think that's a big difference here as well. I grew up around people that, for the most part, were always smarter than me, wealthier than me, and more talented than me. I went to a British school. Everyone there was like in a mansion. And we were like upper middle class. This isn't like a feel bad for me thing. I'm just telling you my childhood, that I grew up with uber wealthy people in an international school. And then when I moved to Miami, everyone was like 10x better looking than me. Okay. It just was a fact. And we're all beautiful. We can all say that. But like the things society deems as beautiful, okay? Like good body, good skin, beautiful, long, luscious hair, blue eyes, okay? Like all those things. Like I didn't have those things, okay? I was like skinny fat and I had really frizzy hair. I had braces and I had really bad skin and no one liked me, meaning the boys. The boys didn't like me, but everyone was really nice to me. And I found out many years later that one of my really big crushes liked me back, but I only found that out in my 20s. And it is what it is. That's life. But yeah, even now in my adult life, especially having been on Family Karma, I've just met so many successful, talented people. I mean, people that are billionaires, people that are wealthy, smart, successful, good looking. Some people do have it all, guys, and that's okay. You should be inspired by them. And maybe because I've always been in that sort of environment where people have been wealthy, successful, good looking, and smart, that it doesn't faze me. Those things don't faze me. If anything, I'm always inspired and I want to be around people that are better than me. I don't want to be the big fish in the pond. I've never been the big fish in the pond. And if you're ever in a situation where you're that person. You're the best person, meaning you're the smartest one, you're the most talented one, you're the most successful one, you're the most good looking one, however you want to describe it. You're in the wrong room, hun. You need to change rooms. You need to check into another room, check into another quantum field, because that's just stagnation. And some people love that. Some people love being the center of attention and being the best. And there's always going to be someone better than you, better looking than you, and smarter than you. That's just the way of the world. And someone put it into perspective for me, and it was really awesome. I saw this recently, that anything is possible and it can be done. And you don't realize it can be done until you see someone do it. And that's why I like to surround myself with people that are deemed better than me, because then I know, okay, those things are possible. They're in my reality. They're in my aura. All those things are around me. Flying private everywhere, that's around me. Buying a gorgeous home with a saltwater heated pool, that's around me. Being on a Netflix comedy special, that's around me a lot. I'm around so many people now that have comedy specials. People you've never even heard of. Getting a BMW partnership deal, that's around me and that came to me. And so that's why I like to be around people who are better than me. And this girl put it in perspective, as I said earlier, and I digressed per usual. She said, for example, when you see these Olympians and they've got the best scores, these record-breaking scores, and then someone new comes along that you've never heard of, and they've smashed the record. And that's when you know, oh, they beat that person. And we thought that was the world record. But hey, this person's now coming in 2024. And you're going to see that a lot this summer in Paris at the Olympics. And they're coming in, breaking these world records. And now that's the new world record. And that's quantum leaping. All that person did was jump a quantum field, You're listening to someone telling you this is the world record, and you're thinking, well, I guess that's it. No one can beat it. Wrong. Someone's going to come in this year. Many people are going to break records this year. It's just an example of quantum leaping, the Olympics. I can't wait. I can't wait to watch the Olympics. I've always loved watching the Olympics. The past few were a little bit boring, quite frankly, but I think there's a lot of excitement about Paris. I know I'm excited about it. I know Ditz is going with his family, which is really cool. But maybe he can give us a rundown from Paris, live from Paris. We'll have a podcast about it. But yeah, record breaking is a form of quantum leaping, if you want to understand it in simpler terms. And pro tip, surround yourself with people who are better than you. Don't be jealous. Be motivated. Yeah, that's kind of all I have to say. And going off of everything that's been happening on social media, it's just not fun anymore. And I love the podcast, but I want to have a more intimate conversation with you. And again, the people that really do love my content and love me as much as I love you, and not just, like I call them, monitoring spirits, people who just want to see what I'm up to and don't really give a shit about me or my content. I'm actually working on a newsletter. It will be a paid subscription newsletter, and I can't wait to tell you guys more about that. That's not what I'm working on with regard to the 2025 release. That's something I'm actively pursuing and have been pursuing, and was just deciding on really what I want to write about in this newsletter. And I really want to give you guys valuable information. And I'll probably have a monthly subscription and a yearly subscription on Substack. And I've been discussing it with my friend Nick Sharma. You should follow him. His IG is A Brown Table. He's a fabulous chef and photographer, and I love his work. And I've been following him since before Family Karma. And we actually got to meet in person in LA, and it was so awesome. But more on that later on coming up. And I hope you guys have a lovely weekend. I will be laying low and probably packing. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you guys next week, God willing. Bye.